My name's Michael Heenan, and I was in the Sydney to Hobart yacht race a few years ago in ferocious seas and huge southerly winds about 70 nautical miles off Point Perpendicular in the middle of the night when we slammed off a huge wave and suffered irreparable damage to the mast. So we turned the boat around, put a small sail up and started surfing wildly through these huge, sometimes double up breaking waves back towards Sydney. Or it was really more like back towards Lord Howe Island because we couldn't turn left with the damage. At that point, I'm a very good sleeper, I decided I'd go below and have a snooze. The next thing, I was woken up suddenly with the feeling that someone had smashed the side of the boat in with a telegraph pole, and I'd woken up, trapped and underwater. I started pushing up with all the force I could muster on whatever was trapping me. I thought there were broken bits of boat all around me and I was pushing as hard as I can. And I remember thinking to myself, don't use too much force or energy, because if you get out of this, I think I'm going to have to swim out of the boat and then swim to the surface. Meanwhile, back on deck, the boat had started down a particularly rogue wave, and as it took off, the wave broke with enormous force, slewing the boat and then dropping it upside down to the bottom of the wave. All the instruments on the top of the mast were smashed to pieces. The washboard, like the door, and a couple of the windows were smashed completely in, and the boat was filled with water. The two strong young blokes on deck, who'd been hanging on for their dear life, were pitched straight off the boat. Luckily, their short and safety harnesses kept them nearby. Meanwhile, I'm down below still trapped underwater, trying to push my way out of what turned out to be the bottom of the boat, because it was upside down. I still have the scar on my back. As the boat slowly righted itself, my left arm found a stainless steel safety rail, and I pulled myself up, still fooling myself that I wasn't using too much force. But I did bend that solid steel rail and pulled myself up into what was the sweetest air pocket. We then bailed and stuffed cushions into the smashed windows and steered all night with the whole crew strapped around the back of the boat trying to keep it in the water, with my brother, the other main helmsman, and me doing 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off for the next 14 hours. My parents and other 5 brothers and sisters were shocked by the news flash that interrupted the movie they were watching, saying our boat had been swamped and they'd received a Mayday. I don't think they've recovered from that shock yet. We eventually made it under our own steam back to the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia, and were surprised to see a crowd of news cameramen and radio station reporters gathered around our dock, all interested to see how we'd saved the boat in those horrendous seas.